friend Sheree here from Sheree's Alchemy, and I'm stopping in today just to share with you guys my latest Mart Fabricista make. This went live on Instagram last week, and I know not all of you follow me over on Instagram, so I just wanted to share here with the YouTube family this beautiful dress that I made. I absolutely love it. I recorded a little bit of footage of me doing certain things throughout the sewing process. So I'm gonna share that, and then I'll share the final look. I'm wearing it right now. It is a gorgeous printed, like rayon crepe kind of fabric, and it has this patchwork kind of print all over it, or scarf print. And I knew that I wanted to kind of further make it look even more patchy, because even though it was like a scarf print or a patchwork print, it was pretty regular, like regular repeat. And so I wanted to cut up in a way where it would look even more patchwork. And so I found this McCall's pattern that I've been wanting to show for a while. I'll pop an image of it right here. And I'm so glad I chose it. I made the sleeveless version, obviously. The only change that I made is that instead of using the pattern comes with neck facing, and it comes, you're supposed to make your own bias to face the sleeves. I decided to line mine. As you can see, I did my same little mistake. I actually followed the pattern measurements, and I don't know, it just, again, what I really have to do is just start doing a mock-up of these kind of bodices, because especially with McCall's patterns, I just feel like they always end up being bigger than I think they're going to be. The bottom fits great, the waist is fine. And so I am gonna go ahead and just take this waistband seam out and kind of pull this in so it's a little bit, or maybe here on the sides, just take it in. It just is like a lot of extra. And so I probably need to size down 1 or 2 sizes for the top. But the skirt was great. I did the little split on the side, you'll see in the pictures. And yeah, otherwise I sewed it up just according to the pattern directions. It's a very easy sew, comes together pretty quickly. I mean, you are cutting out a lot of individual pattern pieces, but you know, as long as you know how to gather, that's really the only thing that is, you know, involved outside of doing straight lines stitching. But yeah, it's a really fun, easy patchwork dress to put together. I'm definitely gonna make this again. I love it. So I just wanted to show you in case you guys are looking for a fun maxi dress to make. I wanted to submit this also for the Sew Maxi for Mother's Day challenge, but because this was a Fabricista make, I couldn't share it actually until May 31st. So it was beyond the deadline for that. And I did enter this into the Sewing for May, Flowers for May sewing challenge over on the new website. I think it's called Socialistas or something like that. They had followed me on Instagram, and I followed them back, and it's actually a kind of a cool site to keep track of your sewing projects, and it seems like they host contests. So I might drop some things over there. You know, I tend not to go on to too many sites just because it becomes a rabbit hole for me. You know, next thing I know, 3 hours have gone by. I've neglected all my work for the day because I'm like clicking and oh, look at this person. So I have to be a little bit more disciplined at this stage in my life, given all the things that I have going on. But that's one site. It was very easy to upload my project and give a little description. So I might play around with that a little bit more. So if you haven't checked it out, and you're looking for some pattern reviews, or just to see some more images of things sewn up without having to like be on Instagram and getting bombarded with things constantly, that might be a fun site for you to check out. So it's called socialistas.com. If you are a part of that site, let us know in the comments. Let us know your username and we can come. I think you can follow people over there. I'm not sure. I clicked around a little bit, mainly just to look at the May contest entries. So many beautiful dresses entered. You guys know I love floral print, so that particular contest was right up my alley. I should say too, I'm still, I think the 14th or 15th, so just in a few days, my 60-day no-buy challenge officially ends. I had 2 times where I filled carts with fabric, but I didn't check out. And so I'm so proud of myself. I think I'm gonna do a recap video to show you guys all the things I did sew during these 60 days. Because as I said, it wasn't about 60 days not buying anything, but also not sewing. No, I needed to also like sew up some of the things that I have sitting around in my sewing room. So I did a good amount of sewing. I made a lot of really pretty dresses that have become favorites and that I've actually worn. Like this has already been worn twice, this dress. I just threw this on to make the video today, full disclosure. But I've worn this twice already and I love this dress so much. Same with my Sew Maxi for Mother's Day makes. I've worn all those dresses. And the snake print t-shirt dress, I wore it for a 3rd time already. Like I just threw it on and was just lounging around and it's so comfortable. So I definitely need to make more of those. But anyway, if you've used this pattern, let me look up the number because I'm talking and I'm not, I am not telling you the pattern number. Let me look the pattern number up really quickly. This is, I think it's McCall's 79. Yes, McCall 7970. And you can go to the Mart Fabricista blog to read and to see more images of my dress. I'll put that link to my blog post that I wrote up for it in the description box, so you can check that out. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now and just show you some, I'll show you some of the video, probably of, if you don't see it, it's because it didn't really add much value to the video and I decided not to add it. But I think I'm gonna add that footage of me describing some of the changes that I made, and then I'm going to share pictures so you can see what it looks like on. So that's it for today. I want to thank you guys for subscribing and watching. I usually don't look at my analytics, and I noticed that, I don't know, somebody was talking to me and oh, that's what it was. I finally went into YouTube Studio. I was like, what is this YouTube Studio thing? And I'm clicking around. So first of all, I saw a bunch of comments that I never responded to or acknowledged. So my apologies to any of you that commented months ago, and you're probably thinking like, she didn't even respond. I didn't see them. I thought I would get a notification every time someone left a comments, because I would get notifications and then I would click on that and I would respond to that. But I wasn't scrolling through like all the comments, seeing things that weren't answered. And so I think I'm caught up on at least liking, but definitely responding to any questions or statements that people had in the comments from, you know, a few months ago, even when I first started the channel. So my bad, y'all. I'm still learning, so forgive me for that. But then I was just clicking around, looking at the analytics and stuff. And I noticed that most of the people watching my videos aren't subscribed to my channel. And that's okay, you know. But if you're watching this now and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to subscribe to Sheree's channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my videos, and hit the notification bell so you'll get notified when I upload a video. Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there because I was like, oh wow, people are watching but they're not subscribing. And I do that too. So that's what I'm saying, like, you know, do you. But I did want to just throw that out there in case you're like, oh yeah, I should subscribe. Subscribe. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'm being silly right now. I need to go eat lunch. Getting a little silly and under sugar. And too much coffee. This is my 2nd cup. But anyway, yeah. I'll see you guys back here again soon, okay? Stay safe. Stay cool. Y'all, we are having a heat wave here in Minnesota. It's been like 99, 100 degrees. I've been still working in the garden, but I actually decided to stop in the middle of the day because I really felt like I was about to have a heat stroke the other day, like no joke. And I was like, girl, come on, you're being silly. If one of these plants dies, it's better them than you. Go get some water. So I have been forced to be inside a little bit more. So I've been working in the sewing room. Actually, like reorganized my list of videos that I want to make because the list keeps getting longer and I'm not making the videos. So I worked on that a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, let me get cleaned up and make my video, my Fabricista, before a month goes by, right? So anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking in here with your inconsistent girl. At some point I'll catch a rhythm. I think so, right? All right, I'm getting really goofy now as I get on the sugar. So I'm gonna go. You guys have a great day. Stay warm or stay cool, depending on where you are. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you back here again soon. Hello, hello. So I want to show you the fabric that I chose for my May 2021 Fabric Mart Fabricista make. This fabric has this almost kind of a collage slash patchwork slash scarf kind of print all over. And it is a rayon challis, and I'm in love with it. I love all the colors. I love that it has the like background, making it still suitable for spring and summer. But I mean the shades of pink and all the different prints, geometric paisley florals. It's just pretty. So let me show you the pattern that I chose to use. I've been wanting to make this for a while. This is McCall's 7970. I'm going to make view C with some modifications. So, as I make the modifications, I'll show you what I'm doing. So stay tuned. Okay, friends, so the fabric has been washed and dried and ironed, and we're about to cut it out. But I just wanted to come back one more time to show you all the beautiful colors that are in this and all the beautiful prints. I mean patterns. It's really lovely. So I'm gonna start pinning and cutting, and let's see how this comes together. So for this dress, it's again McCall's 7970. There are a lot of pattern pieces because what you're doing is for most of the pieces that are for the skirt, you're cutting them out individually. So let's just go through it. You start with piece 1, which is the bodice front. You have piece 2, which is the bodice back. That's cut on the fold. And I should have said piece 1, you are cutting twice. Okay. And you have piece 4 here. Piece 3 is a sleeve, which I'm not using. Piece 4 is your front facing. I'm going to see, I might self-line my bodice. I think that's what I'm going to lean towards doing because I have plenty of fabric. In which case, I won't need this back facing either. But that's piece 5. And then you can see here, actually I'll show you piece 18. That's for the belt, which I will be making. But then every other piece is cut individually. So you're going to cut one of the back left ruffle, one of the back upper, one of the back side, one of the front ruffle. It's like a lot of individually cut pieces. The fabric is already like patchworky looking. So we're just going to see, you know, how it goes together. I was tempted to just cut those so that they will all be symmetric. But I'm going to go ahead and follow the pattern. And the pattern, I'm going to cut the largest size, which is a 22. And I'm going to need foresee a total of 4.5 yards, which is exactly what I have. So I'm going to pin this all together first before I cut it, just to make sure I have enough fabric. I can always use a lining fabric to make the lining for the bodice if I want to go that route instead of using the facings, which I do think I'm going to do. So anyway, I'm going to get this pinned and I'll let you know if it works out or not. Okay, so after I cut the bodice, I went to lay it down again to cut additional pieces for the lining, and I realized because of the sheerness of the fabric, particularly here where there's white and lighter colors, I could actually see the print through on the other side, and I didn't want that. So I decided to go on and use this just off-white, soft white lining fabric that I had left over from my last Fabricista project, actually, when I made the suit. I'm using that as the lining. So all I did was I cut one back on the fold of the print, one back on the fold, bodice back on the fold of the lining. Then I cut 2 of the bodice front pieces of fabric and then 2 more of the lining. So the first step in assembling the bodice is actually getting the front shoulder seam gathered so that it matches up with the notching on the bodice back. So basically there's a little bit of gathering just at the front, which helps create that nice soft drape in the bodice. So I'm doing this to the fabric, which will be the outer bodice, as well as to the lining. Yeah, I could modify the lining so that part's flat, but I don't have time for all that. So I'm gonna make the lining exactly as the outer bodice in this case. Okay, so let me show you real quick what I'm gonna sew. Like I said, I did that shoulder seam, and then I put the outer part of my bodice with right sides facing the lining, and I've pinned that around all around the front. So all around the outer the edge along the front, and then from armhole seam wrapped around over the shoulder to the other side of the armhole, and same thing on the other side. So I'm going to sew from here all the way around to there, same on the other side, and then all around this edge. Then I'm going to clip the seams here, turn everything right side out, and give it a really good press. Okay, so I'll be back to show that. All right, so let me show you. I have the bodice turned right side out. You can see here I've pressed it nicely to the inside. And then here, this is what I have to do next. I need to sew the side seam together. So what I'm going to do is open this up like this, and I'm going to pin the lining to the lining, right sides together, and fabric to the fabric. So I'm going to join these right at the seam here, and I'm going to pin it. And so I'm going to join these together right here, and I'm going to pin it and sew it. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Okay, so here's that seam all sewn. Did the same thing on both sides. And then if I flip that back to right side out, this is what. So I've basically finished the armhole. You see that? So that's what that looks like. Okay, so here is the bodice turned right side out, fully lined and pressed. Now I'm going to match up the notches here on the lower edge to create the closure. And then I'm going to move on to the skirt, but you can kind of get a feeling for, you know, how this comes together. And this is a good time for you to try it on, make sure that, you know, it's closed and giving you the coverage that you want. Yeah. Anyway, so far so good. I'm gonna move on.